Okay, guys, cool. So now somebody tell me, who's come up with something they feel good about? Who's come up with something that's different and that they feel like can help them get somewhere? Mr. Lawson.
Good idea. I'm a joint venture strategist for accountants and business strategy.
Boom. Da-da-da. Love it. Good job. Philippa.
The six-figure payday is goddess of people.
Say again, I like the six-figure payday.
Payday for people also.
Okay, so I'm missing the last half. Your cool Jamaican accent.
Goddess.
Goddess. Oh, shit. Now that, okay, if I've ever seen a goddess, okay, it's this woman right here. Woo! I love it. Yes.
I'm a doctor of business with your business prescription.
And by the way, the man is a doctor, right? So again, you see how it, it's got a high, like, it just works, right? Okay, beautiful. Guys, got to keep moving, but that's what I want you to be thinking of. You might have come up with it now. Guys, you got to promise me this. You got all the way to Cancun. You've come all the way to Mexico. You want to get attention on the internet. You want to send out an email. Like our email address, carl@noresults-nofee.com. How many times do you think I've gone and bought something or I've spoken to someone and they said, what's your email address? I told them, and then they said, what to me? Boom. How many times do you think that's just happened? Like to the point where I can't count them? Okay, same sort of thing, guys. You got to start, like, if you hear, like, sometimes when I do a seminar, I start it off like, if I buy a lawnmower, okay, they don't sort of put together, or buy a car, they don't put together like the average situation. Well, look, if you really pound it to the metal, this is the fuel mileage you're going to get. And look, as long as you don't get any door dings, I feel like this paint job's going to last a long time. Ridiculous, right? They paint the absolute best picture how many times? Every single time. And if your salesperson doesn't paint the best case scenario, what would you do if he was your salesperson? You'd fire his ass and find somebody who's going to. So for you guys, what's the client? When your client follows through and does this stuff, you don't put yourself out there for the 16-year-old that's going to, take his dad's car and ram it like Fred Flintstone style back and forth and wreck the thing. That's not what you do. You put the absolute best case scenario for how many times? Once in a while? Most of the time? Every single time. Okay? At the bottom of my emails, we get business coaches clients, period, exclamation mark. Works incredibly well, no results, no fee. That's the kind of stuff that I want you guys to be thinking about. My wife thinks this looks like me. What do you guys think? Okay, so people buy off people. They got to become a likable coach. You want to get people following you on the internet. You got to get, you want to sort of get this traction, have people reply and to show up for your webinars and get those eyeballs. Here's what you got to be thinking along the lines. You ever seen a really good speaker? Adrian, let's start with Adrian instead of me. Okay, but again, what is the first thing they do when they come up on stage? They tear themselves down. They tell you a story about how they flunked out of school. Like I used to go to high school every single day, but I just never actually went in. These kinds of stories, right? So you got to tear yourself down a little bit. You put yourself out there as like, there's incredible power and vulnerability. In fact, if you go to my computer right now, like I've got these little Post-it notes, I can tell you one, like literally immediately as I stare at my computer, immediately to the right where I look most of the time, I put humility is power. I look at it every single day. I can't, humility is power, guys. It's not the opposite. Admitting like fault and that you made some mistakes and that, the world's not the greatest place in the world sometimes for you is absolute power. So again, for you guys as well, don't put it all out there like it's all that amazing. Polarizing figure. Don't be vanilla. Don't be everything to everyone. Don't be a sweetheart. Go and make some, go and form some opinions out there. Because then again, some people are going to like that and some people are going to hate that, and that's just fine. The people that like it are going to be, you're going to be their likable coach and you're going to get somewhere. Pointed anecdotes. Again, like you need to have a story. Like I tell a story of how I went to a radio station. I gave them 5 memberships up front for free. Okay, I valued them at $5,000 each. That's 25 grand. I show up like Santa Claus. They say, wow, Karl, these things are fantastic. What do I do with these memberships? Well, why don't you sell advertising, right? Well, here's an introduction to my ad library. Show them some of the really clever headlines like, how'd you like to get the body back you had before you had kids? And I say, well, look, why don't you do this? Run a draw on the radio. You guys sell advertising, right? Run a draw on the radio that says, hey, if you want 2016 to be your best year yet, you want to knock it out of the park and you want to blitz the projections that you put for next year, be the 15th caller and win a 12-month mentorship to carlsbusinessacademy.com. They get 50 phone calls, 1 caller wins, and guess what? They've got 50 people to follow up and sell advertising to. Boom. Do you think that might work? So like that's a story, but it's really, I'm trying to explain, I'm saying that to you guys, but what I'm really trying to say to the coach that I'm talking to is, holy shit, well, I could do that. Now it's just a matter of how many radio stations could you get a hold of, and now do the same thing for the magazines, the newspapers, etc. Okay, so again, pointed anecdotes, history, backstory. Again, I told you about Brendan Burchard, Tony Robbins, what I often say, leader of the pack. Again, guys, people don't want to be with the follower. I'll give you the red hot tip. They want to be with the guy who is the leader. Again, do you want to put that out there once in a while, most of the time? Always, guys. You definitely want to be the leader of the pack. Adventurer, just again, you're the guy touring overseas, cruising around a backpack. You want to be you ever seen like the internet guy? If you've been on YouTube, you've probably seen this. He's like in a kayak and he's motoring along and he's got this, camera staring at him and he's talking about making 6 figures on the internet, right? Incredible. Like there's certain people, I think it's freaking lame. I don't think it's lame at all. I know exactly what he's doing, but I'm there going, oh man, I can only imagine what he's selling on the other end. Probably not pretty for the people who buy it, but it is what it is, and it works for a certain category. And by the way, I'm sure he's got some clients that nail it. You know what? I don't know, but he's definitely taking the adventurer approach. Reporter. Again, I act as a reporter all the time. Guys, I talk about Tony Robbins. Like this, what I'm putting up here, the likable coach. Again, I didn't invent this stuff. Some of it's from Russell Brunson. Some of it's from Jeff Walker. Some of it's from Tony Robbins. Some of the stuff I made up myself, right? And it's just a matter of putting it together so that I like it, because I know people buy off people they like, and I know if you become a likable coach, you're going to get more coaching clients. Well, that's my job. My job is not to like reinvent the wheel and like create everything. Reluctant hero, this is a beauty. Again, being the reluctant hero. Jeff Walker, I don't think anybody does this. Hands up if you know Jeff Walker, right? He's sort of like an older guy with gray hair, and he fumbles around, and he talks about how he got started, and he was a stay-at-home dad, and this. He's got the most hilarious, by the way, he started in 1994. Again, people want to use like Jeff Walker as their example. He's the anomaly on steroids, right? Like the guy's done, like, what does he call himself? The $400 million man nowadays, by the way. So, but anyways, the reluctant hero, you guys could probably see that. That's going to be perfect for some of you, and it's going to be terrible for others. It needs to work. Like Steve, he is a doctor, and then he put himself out there as the doctor of business. It works. Plot starter. So now you're going to, like, again, you're talking to something, you're like, somebody replies, you're starting to, start a conversation, you're exchanging some emails, or you're commenting on the, Facebook post and whatnot. What can you use? Like us versus them. I often do this like with life coaches. I'm like, holy shit. Like life coaches, when you take on a business, who do you got to get out of the way in order for them to start moving forward? Themselves, right? Is that like a life coach, folks? Why would you be a life coach when you could be a business coach, right? Be a business coach. Oh, by the way, Tony Robbins, anybody been to a Tony Robbins event? And the first question out of his mouth is what? Put up your hand if you own your own company, correct? How many hands went up? 80% of the audience. Again, Tony Robbins sells to the guys here, the business owners, right? So again, us versus them is one that you could take on, okay? Like us versus them, like the general coach, and then you're the general new business, whatever. The guy's trying to sell internet marketing to the chiropractors, but you're the general of new business to chiropractors with a money-back guarantee. Why you got started can be very, very powerful. I told you guys my brother committed suicide when I was 16 years old. To this day, it's pretty painful. The bottom line is, like, it's ridiculous and it shouldn't have happened. It was over a stinking business and unnecessary, right? So again, you could imagine if somebody hears that, they're like, holy shit, this guy's on purpose. This guy was 44. I was going to say 43. I'm 44 now. So 44 years old. This is when I was like 16, right? So, and notwithstanding, I think everybody can relate to being we were all 16 years old. Can we all agree that having that thrown in the mix with pubic hair and the girls and trying to make the football team and the hockey team and everything else, do you think I could do without that little Friday, right? But anyway, but that again got me started. Here we are at this stage. It's very, that's just the way it is. It's a story to tell. Certain people relate to it, and no doubt people hear that and they're like, oh, this friggin' charlatan, this idiot, this joker, whatever. Totally cool. I'm polar. I'm not looking to be everything to everyone and vanilla and make everybody feel great. I'm trying to get someone to say, I like this guy. He's cool. I want to follow him, and here we are. Loss and redemption. Again, you guys have seen these time and time again. How many of the, Dan Kennedy talks about how he went bankrupt. In fact, multiple times, right? And boom, now he's kicking ass and taking names. Clients you've helped, without question. This is something when you get an example, you want to be using that on a regular basis. As Adrian, he doesn't use like a different example every time. That would be a silly decision on his behalf. He uses canned examples, real examples, and when he knows at a very intimate level, and then he leverages in multiple different ways. You should do the same thing. Take on a client, blitz it with that client, okay, and then use that as leverage. Discovery, innovation, like our software that's going to be coming could be an example of that. But you know what are you guys doing to be able to change the game? The web, you're the daycare, and you decided that you're going to introduce the web watch, and nobody else in the area has got it. This is the kind of thing that they could be promoting. Again, you guys, drop me in any city, give me $100, a driver's license, and a phone, and I'll have 3 clients at $1,500 a month, or whatever your offer is going to be. I mean, that, I don't know if that falls into straight innovation, but it's certainly something to put yourself out there, and it's like no one else is doing it, so it's innovative, right? So anyhow, and third-person testimonial, look, other people saying fantastic things about you, very, very powerful. Now I want to throw it to you guys to help me. So now I'm going to try close a coaching client. I'm going to try get an email responded to. I'm going to try get somebody from an email onto my phone. How could I go about, and I can use my LinkedIn profile, I could use my Facebook profile. Guys, it's a whole gambit, right? How could I go about evoking on the internet authority to people that are following me, or that just happen to take their 2 eyes and place them on my website, on my Facebook page, what have you? Guys, show of hands. Somebody got an idea how I could show authority?
Book.
A book. How many of you have a book and can be honest, and then you're not really, if I go to your website, it's not there. If I go to your Facebook page, it's not there. If I go to your LinkedIn profile, it's not there. Right? Can't have that. You got to have the book on there, guys. You're crazy to have the book and then not promote the crap out of it. It gives you authority. What else could I do? What else could give me authority?
Webinars.
Sorry?
Webinars.
And what about a really kick-ass name? Like how I earned $187,000 my first 9 months online as a coach. So how to grow your business is a webinar, which is cool, and it'll, you'll get a couple people there, hopefully get a few coaching clients. You put it out there. I'm running a webinar, and I'm going to guarantee every participant is going to find themselves $10,000 in 45 minutes without spending $1 on marketing or advertising. Is the authority factor going to go up big time, or should I go back to promoting the small business growth webinar? It's game over. By the way, what I also do, you'll see when I do trainings online, I do live training. Okay? Is live training and a webinar exactly the same stinking thing? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's just more powerfully worded. Reciprocity. How could you go about evoking a little bit of reciprocity out there with potential clients? What could you do for them? Yes?
Train them for a month.
Train them for a month?
Access to the system.
Like a puppy dog. So train them for a month, 30 days. So I'm the coach. I give you 30 days free of charge. If you like me, you keep me. If you don't like me, you fire me.
Mate,
And that's
give
my...
them the keys to the Lamborghini. They don't want to give them back at the end of the weekend, do they?
Boom. Exactly. What was the second one you said?
The second one was access to the website and
Like what I said with the radio station.
well, similar situation, but I mean coaching for a month. Be
Yep.
their marketing strategist for a month.
Reciprocity.
The strategy is when you do that, they're going to see the results.
Yep.
And you'll get the reciprocity. Also.
Yeah, love it. Curiosity. How could you go about evoking a little bit of curiosity?
Show the photo of Daryl kissing you.
Yeah. No,
that's
there was nothing to be curious about. It was right there. His tongue was in my mouth, and I went for the Listerine. That's what happened. You did. I'm telling you, dude. I felt it. I felt it swooshing around.
You got it out there, Darryl.
Dude, I couldn't sleep last night. Again, curiosity. I talk about this a little bit later. Here's a really good one, guys, that I've used at an unbelievable level. If you guys, some of you have got this email from me, by the way. I'll tell you, if I want to get you to do something or I want to get you on the phone, I tell you I've got a couple of ideas for you. I don't elaborate. I just tell you I got a couple of ideas. Do you know how often it works? Like close to all the stinking times. Blows you. It's really clever, guys. Oh, by the way, I want to get together. I've got a couple, since our last meeting, I've got a couple of ideas for you. Boom. You're on the phone. Because again, going back and forth via email, that's not the sales tool, guys. Email is for communication, okay? The phone or face-to-face is for closing a deal.
The other situation too, Carl, they're not responding or they're a bit slow to respond. I haven't heard from them for a while. I'm a little disappointed because I really believe you're going to kill this.
And I got a couple of ideas. Yes. And you say exactly. That's very powerful. And by the way, I got a couple of ideas on exactly how you could do it because I know the area you're in, I know the demographics, I know the niche that you're in, what have you. Trust. How could you go about building up trust? Sorry? Guarantee. Absolutely. Boom. Most definitely. From the goddess herself. How else could you go about building up trust?
Low risk or no risk policies.
Boom. There you go. So again, a whole bunch of ways you could do this. Guys, you don't want to have one of these, two of these. You want to find a way to bring all of these into it. How could you build up anticipation? What could you do on the internet? What if, some of the gurus that you've been following Or how do you go about building up anticipation, or what else have you seen out there at one stage?
Tease them. What? Teases.
See them?
Teases.
Teaser.
Teases.
Teaser. Teaser. I love it, man. Love it. Love that. Yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, no. Man's from Ireland. Okay, so anticipation, look, no question. I mean, Jeff Walker does this, right? Like, well, we did this with $187,000 in first 9 months online. We announced an early bird special. There's something coming. It's very, very, very special. Put your email in here. Don't give away all, don't throw all the eggs into the basket straight away. Okay, so but anticipation worked really, really well for you. Likability, that's kind of what we're talking about here, and they're all on the left-hand side. But again, people buy off people they like, and people like themselves. Okay, so again, but again, try to be everything to everyone, and you be nothing to no one. So again, going to make sure that you're, trying to be likable. That's sort of what we're talking about here. Events. What kind of events could you run that would, again, assist you in having people like you, follow you, and get their eyeballs on your website? What kind of events could you guys run?
Lunch and learn.
A what?
Lunch and learn.
Lunch and learn, perfect, yeah. I did unbelievable numbers with focus groups back in the day. Again, I built a $5.5 million coaching company. We used to do $400,000 a month in new small business coaching clients. One of the best strategies we had is instead of everybody was doing seminars, we did focus groups. You guys ever heard the expression, what would people rather do? Die or speak in public? Die. So guess what? They go to the focus group. The idea is that they're going to talk. Guess who doesn't want to talk? All of them. So it's just a seminar, right? But we did throw it back, and we got lots of good feedback, so it's fine. It was, a quote-unquote, a focus group. But really, guys, the sale at the end was exactly the same as it was in our seminar, lunch and learn, and whatnot. Okay, so again, events, get creative with the events that you're having. And again, should you have one event, should you have 2 events, or should you have an ongoing event? And if you get 2 people there, congratulations. If you get 20 people there, congratulations. Eventually, you will get 2,000 people there. But you got to get the ball rolling. The hamster needs to get on the wheel. Okay, community. How could you go about building a sense of community?
Facebook group.
A what?
Facebook group.
Facebook group. Boom. Jason's done that with his with his JVs, he's got tons of people on a Facebook page, correct? In fact, because I follow you on that, and then what did you do? You put up there not long ago, oh guys, I just had a cancellation, like a 1-hour cancellation. If anybody wants a quick 15-minute meeting, tell me, what was it?
Yeah, no, I basically said, look, I had a cancellation tonight. If anyone, I had 2 cancellations, and I've got 2 hours of time slot available. If anyone wants to take it, first come, first serve. And
Cool.
I booked in like 3 phone calls.
Love it. Again, so build a sense of community, a Facebook page, introducing all of your clients. Again, it's a sense of community all day long. It's going to be what it's going to be if you do it properly and you're doing a good job with your clients, which no doubt you would. You're going to build a sense of community, and it's going to be like a pain of disconnect, which is definitely something you want. Scarcity, again, scarcity, guys, real simple, right? I take on 10 clients, and I take 10 clients only. Social proof. Testimonials. I talked about in the last presentation, when you show up, when OJ went to the court case and he came to sort of, defend himself, that he put together a haphazard sort of, positioning against the prosecutors, or did he put together everything they could possibly think of and hire the best lawyers in the world to put the case forward? You want to be doing something along those lines. Social proof, get as much of it as you possibly can. So, now pick a niche, guys. Okay, again, so basically, what I would, look, you need to pick a niche, guys. We talked about it a little bit a minute ago. It came up with some clever stuff. I want to take that further, okay? Pick a niche, pick a bad one. I don't give a crap what you do. When you try to be everything to everyone, right, Angela, we were talking earlier. She asked me about the drip campaign and the conversions and whatnot. And I'm like, look, if you're going to send out, emails to butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers, the reality is that the conversions are not going to be fantastic no matter how good and qualified these people are. It just is what it is. But you start talking to chiropractors, and then you speak to chiropractors and chiropractors only, it goes to a whole another, everything becomes way more impactful, okay? High unit of sale. Again, massage therapists, guys, they charge $100 for a massage, you're $1,000 a month. He needs to do 10 massages before your fees are covered. Her hands are already sore before you break even, like your client, they break even on your coaching. They haven't paid a massage therapist, they haven't paid the rent, haven't bought a hamburger at McDonald's, and boom. So high unit of sale. You get a roofing company, they're charging $10,000 for a roof, and there's $3,000, $4,000 of profit. If they should make $3,000 profit on a deal, you're 12 grand a year, you got to get them 4 clients a year to break even. You get them 8 clients and you're doubling the investment in what they made with you. And that's in new business. It doesn't count number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 of the 5-step profit formula. Recurring income. Again, a client that I'm looking for, I want to know that they're buying repeatedly. Okay, super duper important. Like, you know, like a realtor as an example is anywhere near as good of a client as a business coach. Expertise, experience, passion, growing industry where people are getting started. This one I want to hammer home. Again, guys, we teach business coaches how to take their business to another level, right? Could I take the average salesperson and turn them into a business coach? So imagine how much bigger my market is than if I pick chiropractors. A chiropractor's got to go to school for 5 years. So that's not necessarily the perfect niche for me to pick. Okay, so again, when you can get people started, huge. Advertise, then you can advertise on Biz, Buy, Sell, Franchise Gator, and they've got tons of those eyeballs, so you don't have to worry about driving traffic. You just need to put your ad where they're already got the audience. And I hear this all the time. Karl, if I only went to chiropractors, I'd get bored. Trust me, guys, that is a crazy thing to say, okay? Find creativity in other things. Take your family away, you know, have more fun with your kids, this sort of stuff. You know, take on new staff members, build new programs, hire a social media guy, and then have like a social media arm to your company that you service for your clients. There's all sorts of creativity. Donald Trump rolls up and does the same thing fundamentally over and over again. He builds hotels, he builds golf courses, he shows up with the red ribbon, bang, his lawyer, it's the same paperwork, it's the same this, it's the same that. You know, I'm telling you, the man's life is not that exciting. Like, it's pretty boring from a business perspective over and over again. There's incredible profit in boredom. Let's put it that way. So picking a niche. And then, so guys, what sort of niches? You know the expression, find a parade and then stand in front of it? Again, if you've heard Adrian speak, you've heard me speak, you've probably heard that expression. Google, the fastest billion-dollar valuation of all time, has nothing to do with how intelligent these guys are. Sure, they're Rhodes Scholars, and congratulations. The difference between, you know, them and then someone else at their level of intelligence is not multi-billions and somebody else making 300 grand a year. I'll give you the tip on that one. They're not that smart. They got themselves in an industry that was like the ocean just waving through. It was incredible. So these are examples of some things, like some niches that you could think about. Okay, and by the way, there is growing economies. Like say back in when 2008, shit hit the fan in the US and Texas was hardly a blip. Australia didn't even notice. Canada, you know, we were affected, no doubt, but I mean, it wasn't earth-shattering like it was in the U.S. You were in California, and it's kind of game over. And then there's also like economy, like there's different industries that are growing quickly. The toothbrush test, Google only work on something. They have this toothbrush test. Anybody know what it is? If you don't do it twice a day, they don't look at it. You look at the products that Google do. They do Google Maps, Google Search, obviously. Remember Google Glass? They Android. You're staring at your phone. What are they? The smart fridges, this type of thing. The driverless car. They're working on things that again, what do they have? They have eyeballs, and that's what they're looking for, lock, stock, barrel. But if you don't use it twice a day, Google isn't interested in it. My opinion, you understand business models at a high level, guys, you understand incredible power in that. If they don't do it twice a day, it's game over. Change your offer, change your life. Said that a bunch. Words are currency on the internet. We get business coaches clients, period. If I give you a $50 bill or a $10 bill, the difference in the size and the value of the toaster that I get is significant. Well, the words that you put on the paper and the words that you put on the website will dictate the level, the quality of the person that comes to you, and then the quality of their enthusiasm as well. Okay, so again, thinking about that. Take people out of state. When I say I get business coaches clients, period, trust me, I receive the emails. You see some of the emails that we get. I mean, it's just like, so can you meet me in 15 minutes from now? Like they literally just pick up the phone and phone your 1-800 number because you take them out of state. Where were you when Princess Diana died? You know exactly where you were standing, who you were talking to in the moment because of the way it make you felt. Get them out of state with this, with these words. I've got a couple of ideas for you. Showed you that. What are some offers, guys? You've seen all of these: video series, webinars, live presentations. Buy clients, buy JVs. $500 for a JV to put 10 bums on seats. Put that on the internet, guys. $500 for a JV to put people into a webinar. Check this one. I'm willing to pay someone $1,000 for an introduction. You go and put that on certain websites and certain niches, like believe me, you're going to get some private messages. You're also going to get some people calling you, you know, a jerk off. That's okay. We're here to be polarizing. We're here to get deals done. We're here to change lives. We're not here to be a sweetheart.